Call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
First thing on the agenda is to review the minutes. Everybody have a chance to read them?
Yep.
Make a
Just have-
motion to approve as amended, or do you have something else?
I think a correction here. If you go to the fifth paragraph down,
Rules and regulations.
yeah. Said Mr. Parks stated that we should take a look at them
I just
possibly.
made the change. Rick has the change.
Oh, he has a change?
I just.
I changed it, then I changed it, and then you changed it.
Oh, okay, all right. All right.
You want to read what it says, because you have it?
Is that,
So you just changed it to the plastic, right?
Yeah.
Cast iron
Yeah.
plastic. All right.
Yeah, did away with that cast iron. So, is this ready to be signed, 35?
Yes, it is.
We're gonna, with your approval, I'm gonna skip over the other, what's on the agenda next. We're gonna move on to Scott. Since he's already here, I wanna hold him up.
appreciate it.
Okay? So, at our last meeting, we were notified by the accountant, I guess, through Curry, that we're not gonna make our, it doesn't look like we're gonna make our budget this year.
Right.
So, we're a little bit concerned, and then we were trying to figure out why exactly, we have such a shortfall. Are you finding that people aren't paying like their tax bills and stuff? I hear towns are millions of dollars short. I mean, are they not paying, or?
The selectmen had moved to have no demands or interest through June 29th. So right now I'm probably 700,000, 600,000 shorter than I was last year. And I'm waiting to see at the end of this month if that money's gonna come in or not. So that's where I am on that end of it.
So, on the water end, has money been coming in any better, have you found lately, since we sent the bills out? And
I looked right now, you guys are, I think it'll be about 1.8 million, and you need to get to 2, so you're about 200,000 short, I think, through this week, or through last weekend. But I think the commitment was a little smaller than usual, but no, I'm not.
one of the, years ago, the reason why we put such a big penalty in it, if you didn't pay your bill, we put that $50 charge in, was because a lot of people just didn't pay their bill from
Right.
bill to bill, and they just let it go to lien, and then what they'd do is they'd pay it through their taxes, and then they could write it off
Yeah,
on their income taxes, and they thought that was smart, but the fees were so big, it didn't make any sense. Because we were charging them $50, and you guys were charging them over $50. So whatever savings they were getting, it was very, very small by the time they got done.
yeah.
So then we were wondering, and we asked Kerry, how much we used to always have to bill $50,000 more than we thought, because there was always $50,000 that was outstanding. That's the way it went on for years and years. You get caught up 50 grand and you fall behind 50 grand, so it always stayed about the same. Are you finding that right now the water revenue is carrying a bigger outstanding
As of
collection?
last week, I think it looked like we had 355,000 outstanding. That's everything. So that seems a little higher.
Yeah.
If you figure you guys usually lean between 150 and 200,000, that still leaves another 150 and 200 that's still out there.
So when that 150 and 200 come in, you get it went through the bank, through the taxes and that, and you separate that out for us, right?
Yeah, so I had sent Carrie a spreadsheet and she had said she forwarded it to you guys. It's from the accountant when she balances every month, and it breaks down all your time fees, the usage, the interest, everything in that. So yeah, all the water lien interest is all included in that spreadsheet. And I talked to her, and I can send that over to her monthly, so you guys can have a better tracking of it.
Yeah, we gotta reset the rate, we gotta go up on our water rate,
Yeah,
but you don't wanna overshoot the water rate. It's nice to know how much is outstanding, because if all of a sudden things get good and everybody starts paying their bills, all of a sudden everybody screams because you got a surplus, you know?
yeah,
So we were just trying to figure out what was really going on.
yeah. So the other thing that we had discussed was when Jan retired last year, she used to send Carrie a monthly list of who had paid the water liens, and I didn't know she had done that, so we haven't been sending it to her. So we could definitely restart that practice, so you guys can see what the water lien outstanding is. Right now it's about 21,000 in 2020 water liens that hasn't been paid, and about 17,000 in 2019 water liens.
That's
So
all, huh?
That's not bad.
yeah, I think most of the mortgage companies, it comes in through them. So
They pay them right up.
yeah,
So the ones that don't get paid are the ones who don't pay it through their mortgage or the bank. They don't have a mortgage probably, they
for
just
the
don't
most
pay the
part,
water bill.
yeah,
The house is paid off, because the bank would definitely pay it up.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get those when they finally sell, you get it sooner or later
Yes.
with interest, so. Well, there isn't that, so there's, what'd you say, 17 and 19,
21 and 19.
okay? So that is a number, that's not.
Yeah, so 21 and 17,000, so
Okay.
almost 40,000 outstanding.
Got any questions?
That's not gonna do it for her.
I know.
No magic answer, but Kerry's gonna get that now from,
Yeah, we can
on a monthly
definitely
basis, the spreadsheet and have more information.
Yeah, we can do that. That's easy.
Well,
That'd be helpful, just so we can pay, keep a
Yeah,
better track
yeah.
of what's going on, because it gets a little vague sometimes trying to figure out what goes on with the numbers.
Yeah, they get kind of abstract really
Yeah.
quickly, but the spreadsheet breaks it out pretty cleanly, so we can forward that.
I remember years ago, one year we had a shortfall, and they had to take money on June 30th. The state made us the taxation to cover what we had a shortfall for.
Okay.
And then, after the July, 8th or something, when we got more money in, we paid it back. Where you guys are short, too, on taxation, what will happen, is the state gonna give us a break there or something for collections, or? They're even short, the state's short.
Yeah, so I haven't heard anything about that yet. Pretty much everything that had come down is through the end of the fiscal year, and I haven't seen much about post July 1st. We have enough money in the bank, and taxes are all, lienable, so everything's guaranteed. So we don't face the same restrictions as you on what you have to collect. And, because our money, it'll get it eventually.
So that, they always told us that we had to collect, it didn't matter how much was on the books or how much was owed to us. They always said, in that fiscal year, by June 30th, you had to collect it, you had to have it on hand. So one year we had to turn to the town, and the town took some taxation money, threw it into our account as cash. And then
They-
we had to pay it back within that 30 days, we had to get it back to the town to pay their bills, And we had enough money coming in, thank God, to keep things afloat. But I was just wondering, this year, you guys are already 700,000 short, you say? Or something?
About for now, yeah, but we don't have those we don't have to borrow or anything to cover, because the money's just guaranteed, because we could foreclose on it if we had to,
Okay,
we don't face those restrictions.
all right, because I don't want to be hit with, on June 30th, somebody say, what are you gonna do about your shortfall,
Yeah, I don't know what your end of that is.
I'd just like to know now what's coming, at the end of the fiscal year here, what kind of problem we're gonna have?
Yeah, it's hard to tell how much the taxpayers are gonna pay, because if they don't make their payments, then all the interest from May 1st through July 1st is gonna hit them all at once. So if people forget, then they're gonna get hit. So I don't know how much is gonna come in, but I'm hopeful. But it's hard to predict what the water's gonna do. So I don't know.
When are taxes due again? We pay
August,
them in May,
August,
right?
yeah, May 1st is the date, so August 1st will be the next one.
August, okay. That's after the fiscal year.
But yeah, we won't know how much comes in until the end of the year, unfortunately, until the end of June.
Yeah, usually we don't know until after,
Yeah,
you know?
it's tough.
Yeah. Tom, do you have any questions? Well, we're gonna have to,
Helpful, you know, unless you can tell us someplace we can just put money out of the sky.
Yeah, we don't have that.
do you have any suggestions for us, or what we got going on there with the books, or?
Not really. One thing I was thinking of is in the past, you had the Madero's property and you had money coming in for that, and he's all caught up now. So I think that might be, those bills used to be so big and he was behind, so you get interest on it. But now the water lien's all paid off and his bills are down a lot lower than they used to be. So that might be one factor to consider going
Okay.
forward. Because if you were, so 1 year he was probably like at 80,000 and now he's back, now he's down.
His bills are way down now?
Yeah, they're under 5,000.
Yeah, because he's putting in trailers, so he's got income.
So what happened there? Did they find the guy that was running the water all the time, or somebody had a leak or something?
I don't think his bill's gone down any. He just has a different revenue stream right now.
So he's able to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's just, but it's not that same level of interest and stuff that you were getting before from it.
Okay, so we definitely gotta raise the rate then, we're not making our bills then.
I would think so, but that's not.
Yep.
It's not me.
Well, that's what we were, you know, we looked like we were gonna have to raise the rate, but we were trying to figure out how much we had on the books and liens and stuff like that, so. But the little bit you got on liens isn't gonna bail us out.
No.
But if you could keep that, up
Yeah.
with Kerry, we'd appreciate that,
Yep, that's easy.
so she can, keep us informed as the year goes on. All right? All right, you got any questions more for him?
No, just thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yep, thanks, Scott.
Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Welcome.
That's the,
Bye, Karen.
Well. Let's see, we gotta sign the warrants. Tom, you got the
Is
warrants?
this all of them, Gary?
just one thing, yeah.
And 84 Copeland Street, customers coming in for water quality, you said that person isn't showing up?
No,
No.
They're definitely not coming?
no, she left a message today with all the COVID, she's got a, underlying health issue, I guess, so she's gonna wait.
Her water's delicious now?
No,
No.
neither of the neighbors.
No.
Drop was already here. Review the minutes, sign the warrants. Station number 1.
All right, it ran again, and I got besieged with complaints again, so it's back down again. I don't understand. We've changed the way the water flows out of the station. It's literally heading up towards Woodland Road now. Yet I still get the exact same people are complaining, and no new people are complaining. Well, we did get one off of Grant Street somewhere, but that could have just been a road thing.
Can
How
you put
bad
up
is
on
it?
the screen to show just where we're talking about?
How bad is it, Wayne? Have you looked at it?
I haven't looked at it because they don't call nicely. They're always screaming. It's water, but yet they
So
get,
what is it, iron colored or?
no, it's yellow, so
It's that same yellow you were talking about
yeah, so
before.
you can't see it unless you have a background to see it in the water. It's kind of weird.
So is it iron?
Yeah, well, it would be either that or something fluffing off a pipe somewhere.
Could be that ferrous iron, that well had a little bit of ferrous iron in it,
Let's see.
more than this well down here does. This well never used to have any.
So
Yeah,
if we-
but up out of the well itself, I've tested it, we flushed it repeatedly and haven't seen
So
anything.
it's fine at the station, but once it gets out
Right.
the
So
system.
it's something else in the section of pipe.
Alright, I know I've changed this before.
How about, going back at that station to the old fashioned C5 that we used to use? That used to keep the, water looking good.
Well, it's not the station that's doing it, you can't capture it if they're not, it's not even close where they're seeing it.
Well, when you turn it on, it's gotta be having an effect on something, so if you put the
So-
C5 in it, it's
So
gonna.
we're pumping the optimum level of C5. There's two sides to the C5, there's not enough, and then you start getting issues. And then there's the other side where you create another issue. Trust me, leave it alone. The other issue is drastic.
What is the issue?
Did you change the C5
It brought-
formula?
It ferments in the hot water heaters, so you get,
Rotten egg smell?
yep, bad, really bad, like really bad.
Did you change the formula of the C5?
No, I haven't done anything. Like so I didn't run station one this week at all. We don't have a complaint in the world. Everything's great. It's not until we turn on station one that we have an issue. And then people start screaming. And it could only, I don't go out on the hub because that's not my place to be, but I did try, and then just the people in their comments, it's not worth even trying to.
No, stay off the hub.
So I'm not gonna bother him again, it's not worth
If
my
I
effort.
see something on there, I'll make him aware, like,
Yeah.
this is what's going on, just so you know, so he'll just do like, this is why it's happening, and then,
I think you're better off to handle one-on-one with a customer. They get on the hub and you get a bunch of clowns and
Yeah.
comments and.
Well, I'm not saying that, but
Some of who are probably watching you say that right now. Tom.
I know,
Well, they know who they are, and they're clowns, so, I mean, there's a lot of BS on there. And people spouting off with half the facts.
Yeah.
So if Wayne can talk to them one-on-one and give them all the facts, and
I mean, there's definitely people on there that, they'll appreciate the explanation, because they
oh, there
don't
are,
know,
don't get me
you
wrong,
know.
sure there are. But then you got people that wanna spin it around.
yeah.
Okay, so where are the ones that are getting
Alright, so it actually is, it's not even, so right now the water comes up out of station one and it's blocked, so it, did I move it far enough? No, one more move it. Make sure I point at the right station. So right now it's coming up out of station one.
Can you blow that up?
Well, I can, but it's station one, so it's blocked. It can't come up towards Sear Street. So it comes up to Vital Ave. We closed the valve at Vital Ave, so now it's forced to head over towards Norman Ave. I don't get any complaints anywhere in that area. My complaints come off of East Center Street, Columbus Ave.
Columbus, way down in Columbus Ave?
Yep. And it's the same people in Bryant Street.
and it
There's
doesn't?
one on Sear Street.
And then, oh yeah, we get the same one on Sear Street all the time.
So it must really be changing the flow somewhere, somehow.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect anybody else. It should affect, like, when we closed the valves and moved the way that the flow went, it should have been a whole new pile of people screaming at me, and it's not. It's the exact same people over and over again. And they're not even near where the flow would be changed.
Now, if you left it on and went to their neighborhood and flush it good, will it make a difference?
I haven't, because I know that when we're running it, that's creating the issue. So the minute I shut it down and we go out there and flush, dead silence.
Say it again,
That's, if they'd leave it alone and just work with me, if I could run it for a week, we'd probably run it right out, and that would be that. But because they all start screaming right away,
Or flush it good, give it a good flushing and.
I have, trust me, we've put more than 100,000 gallons to waste trying to flush the system. The pipe's getting to right where it is now. So I don't, and it doesn't flow. I haven't even increased the flow rate. I'm running it at max at about 300 gallons a minute, which is 150 gallons a minute less than any other station, 4 or 2 coming out of those pipes. Yet it still throws up the same complaints at weird places.
We should probably just run it, let it run out. I mean, we gotta run it at some point.
Have you looked at the gates, at the top of Norman Avenue? And
We tested all the gates to make sure that they work, because they are reverse gates out there, so we actually tested with hydrants and stuff to make sure that
Yeah.
the gates that we were closing were actually closed by closing other gates to see that the flow died.
okay, because I know down by the old Bob and Ken's down there, Dutchland Farms,
Yeah,
that where it comes out there, there's some reverse gates on there too.
yeah.
So if you don't catch it, somebody could be closing something.
But even if they were in the wrong spot, I should still hear somebody screaming from like Norman Ave or Woodland or anywhere in that area, because that's where the station's been redirected to go past.
Do you think it's coming out of that well and going out the system, or do you think because of the change in flow, it's stirring stuff up out of the main?
I'm guessing because of the change in flow, it's stirring up. The only other thing I
That's
thought
what it
about,
sounds like, because nobody
Right.
close to the well is having an issue.
no, well, other than 12, there's just one on Sear Street. One out of the like 6
So I mean,
people.
others could be having, they just don't call.
No, because I actually stop and I talk to the people so that I could, so, I mean, if it's
Right.
happening, I want to know it right away so I can shut it
Did you
down.
look and see which main the ones who are complaining are on Sear Street and what main
Well, see,
tied
they're
to?
all tied into that one line that's up and all by itself.
The whole street?
Yeah. Except for the new house, they're tapped into the transit, or they got tapped into something else that was closer. Because the other main didn't exist for them to be tied into. Victoria Lane or whatever it is right there.
There's three water mains going up that street.
Yep.
And all the houses are all on one main?
Yeah, the old one that's all the way to the far side.
How about the stuff on East Center, where they're getting the complaints?
There's only one main up there, it's it's an AC main.
The other thing is, we found that years ago, sometimes we found the water services tap lower on the water main, and it would suck up all the dirt. That guy would get make all the complaints, because he was tapped at like 5 o'clock. Most people are tapped at 3 o'clock, so he's sucking up all the.
They're not complaining until I turn on station 1. I mean, I could try running it at 100 gallons a minute and see if that does anything on a day when people aren't running our system dry. And see if I get complaints that way. Because originally, I started ramping it up that way. I started at 50 gallons a minute. And then we had that, a long time back, we had the power outage, wiped out all my electronics, I lost Manly, everything got all messed up. So then I just kind of stopped. But I can revert back and run it at 50 gallons a minute for a day and then see, all right, wait a day or two and see if we get complaints. But it's to go by all the other customers just to get to like the select few and it's the same people all the time. I know they got better things to do than harass
That's why it
us.
sounds more like it's something in those lines that's just getting.
Why don't you do this, take a sample the day you're running it at the well, with raw water from the station. When the person complains, go to their house and get a sample.
Yeah.
And compare the two samples for the chemistry of both of them, see if one of them, like if you're picking up a lot of iron and you're not getting it when it's coming out of the well, then you're picking it up along the way somewhere, so that,
I know
if
that
it's manganese, you're picking up manganese somewhere along the way.
I know Bryant Street is affected easily by no matter what happens in town anyways, because when they were doing the high school and whatever else, I got to know the person's name pretty well.
Um,
They'd always be screaming.
that might be because that 6-inch main,
Or something.
is that 6-inch main still going
It's
through
gonna be a
that
big
bridge?
piece
Is
of
that on or
plexiglass.
off?
What is it?
It's gonna be a big piece of plexiglass.
For the,
Yeah.
Is that 6-inch main that goes over that bridge, is that still on or is that off?
No, that's on.
That's on?
Yeah, South Street.
The deep one, no. On South Main Street. There's one there, you need a wrench, it's about 14 feet long. There's a gate.
Oh, we were hoping it was our plexiglass.
Thank you guys.
Have a night.
You too. I bet you that water gets shoved up through Bryant Street and up to South Street when the high school's calling for water or whatever. And that's a small main, I think that's only a 4 or 6 on Bryant. And that's, if South Main Street isn't giving them enough water, maybe the 12 isn't on to the 6, and all that water's traveling fast through that 6-inch. That's maybe why you got the water's traveling with such velocity.
you know, right now, you're not getting any real demand coming out of the high school or any of that area, because they're basically shut down,
Right.
so.
But as soon as they were irrigating and using a lot of water, he said
Well-
that Bryant Street customer was complaining.
Well, it's when people use the hydrants and disturb the system, like when the school was using it for their dust control.
Yeah.
It was daily complaints out of Bryant Street. And then when the landscaper was stealing the water, we were getting the complaints and we finally found them.
And they were watering the baseball fields.
Yeah.
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 Now, Chris has put a whole bunch more irrigation in, I see around town.
We put, wherever he's put in new, there is a meter pit there somewhere.
Okay, good. We gotta say
Are
from
they
the
paying
other.
for the water, or how does that work? Or we just account for it?
I'm just tracking it, it's not, he doesn't, I mean, they're automated systems, but basically I think he just goes there himself and runs them, they're not set up to run.
Oh, they're not automatic?
They are, but he runs them manually. Maybe not the soccer field, but the rest of it, he does.
But you're able to account for unaccounted for water, that's the most important thing.
Right.
Because you could lose a lot of water with all the stuff he's got running now.
Yeah.
What about just running it, like you said, 100 gallons a minute, just keep running it?
I can try that, because I really want to run the station.
The more we run it, the more it's gonna clear up, I would think.
I
Right.
would think so.
If it's out in those pipes somewhere, though, we're just gonna keep stirring it up until we can get it out.
Like you steer it up, right? It'll eventually get it out.
I say we flush those bad areas. Have you tried that, Wayne? Does it make a
With
difference?
Station 1 running,
Not when it's running, because you don't get it takes there's a lag, there's like a day or two lag before the complaints start flying in.
But would it make sense to flush wherever the complaints are coming from?
I mean, we do go out and flush once they call in, so that we can, get them,
and then you shut one down again.
yeah.
Maybe try,
But leave
turn
one-
on Station 1, flush it before the complaints come in, leave it running, even if it's at like 1 or 150,
Yeah.
and see if you still get the complaints. Maybe you need to do is get it out, right off the bat while it's running.
I would think if you flush it with station 1 going and then keep it going after you flush it.
I mean, we can give that a try.
Because the flow's gonna be reduced after you flush it, and it should, I would think,
Yeah.
maintain, but maybe not, I don't know.
And then at least if they complain again, it's, well, look, we're trying,
Right.
we're trying to clean it up. But like you said, we've gotta be able to use that station.
Right. It's not, at some point, it's gotta come online.
Right.
We're gonna have to live through it until we can work it out.
And while we got other stations that we're not desperate for, we should try to straighten it out.
I just was trying not to irritate people as we're moving through, trying to figure out how the rates are going when people are screaming.
Well,
I understand, I
keep
just,
them separate, just do what you need to do with that, because that's, like I said, it goes, there's no real reason it should be if you're not getting that stuff coming out of the well.
right.
So it's gotta be something fairly local to where they get,
And it's only spot sections, it's not all
It's
along.
not,
It's gotta
connected.
be,
You
it's
would
gotta
think
be
it would
those,
be the whole line of people coming down, and it's not.
it's gotta be changing the flow in those areas where people are complaining, I would think.
That's, as we're searching for new water, but we have 3 stations that you can't run in tandem without tipping over the whole
And
cart.
it's not because the station's bad, it's,
It's because we're putting too much water in the pipes.
In the
Maybe
system.
what we ought to be doing is looking at repiping the system up to the tanks and let the system float off of the tanks instead of looking for more water. I mean, we currently have plenty of water, we just can't put it in the pipe at the same time.
Well, you know, when it comes down, push comes to shove, you know, somebody just gotta live with the people who are complaining with the water. Because no water and something that's cloudy, there's a big difference between, not having any water in your house.
or keep flushing it, see if it gets better. Have them work with you, say, hey, we're gonna flush it, let me know what it does.
Yeah,
Right.
just,
And let them work with you, say, we're trying everything, we're gonna flush this street today, let me know if it's better tomorrow, you know, in a week or whatever.
Yeah,
If it's still bad, say, okay, we're gonna flush this street, now we're trying to,
just tell them
explain them what's going on, you know?
we gotta run the well. We spent too much money on the well, the well's gotta run. Sooner or later, the well's gonna run. We just work with us so we can figure out what's going on. If you keep shutting it off, you're never gonna figure it out. And you're never gonna, all that money's gone to waste. We need the water, when other wells go down, you gotta use it. So, we're better off having the people, they just gotta understand. If that person doesn't wanna work with you, find somebody else got dirty water and let them work with you.
Now, that well was always good before when we ran it, right?
Yep.
Years ago? So
yeah,
it's a case of it sitting stagnant, that's the problem.
right. I mean,
You just
it's
gotta,
been
you just gotta run it
rehabilitated.
and flush it and keep flushing the bad areas.
Yeah,
And we never had any problems.
Anybody that complains, talk to them, tell them what you're doing, really explain it to them.
yeah,
What can they say? You're trying to fix it.
right.
Just tell them it's been offline for a long time, we're trying to get it back online, and you may have to suffer through some cloudy water for a few
Right.
months.
Well, that's why I haven't done anything with Copeland Street. I have a way that I wanna try it, but I can't have the whole town turned over and angry hornets
No,
flying
one at
around.
a time.
Alright, well, talk to some people and see if they'll work with you.
All right.
About how many total?
I think we get about 20 complaints.
And
I
most
don't
of
even
that's,
think it's 20. I really
most of
don't.
that's East Center Street.
You don't think it's even 20, Carrie?
I really don't.
And it's they're not connected, that's why I don't get it. But it's directly connected because it happens right in correlation with me running it.
And you've seen it, so it's not,
Right.
people imagine that you could,
Right,
you can actually see.
Oh, it's gotta be, they're not gonna just call up, and they're doing it
No,
right when
it's
you
gotta-
run,
right.
right when you run to station one. Just a case of running it.
Be interested to see what the chemistry makeup is of the water that they complain about. Whether it's manganese, ferrous iron.
Well, this time I can get a potability, actually I have 2 potability, so I can have them test for iron or whatever.
So I
To see if you have anything that shows up unusual.
Right,
It's just sediment from the mains or whatever's built up in the mains.
right, it's just,
if you're getting more iron at their house than what you're pumping out, definitely is picking it up along the way somewhere.
right,
So we just gotta figure out where it is and get rid of it.
yeah.
Alright.
When, Wood and Curran there did the water model, did they show any areas that have, worried about stagnant water? As far as places that they weren't getting any real,
I mean, in the places that are stagnant, we already know, like, when you head towards the deads, like Fair Ave, Plain Street.
But nothing up in these areas here?
No, where I hear the complaints, no, that's not, it's kind of looped all around it, we get water from multiple ways.
And you would hit that when you did the unidirectional flushing?
Yep.
You hit those areas, so,
Yeah.
and so there shouldn't really have been any sediments left in after that, this should be just something that's.
Right. I've heard though, when you do switch over to the unidirectional, it takes a couple of years before you finally get it to
We
where.
get everything out, yeah.
Because basically you're flushing by pushing the water the opposite direction it usually flows.
Right, yep.
So you
that's-
gotta figure that's gonna take some.
Yeah, that's why operating the gates is, because we're manipulating so many, you're gonna run it this way, then you're gonna shut these gates. You're shutting and opening the same gates repeatedly to send it back another way, I mean.
Okay, we all know that subject? Okay, next thing on the agenda is water rates and revenue. We already discussed the revenue, we're in trouble.
So what did he say, we were like 1.8 million in revenue?
Down 200,000.
So it's all, yeah, but that's the budget, so if my budget doesn't get spent out, it's all up to what we spend too, so it'll be close.
I thought the way he said it is now, we usually have collected 2 million, we've only collected 1.8?
I thought,
Is that what he's,
I know.
that's the
Well,
200,000, I thought.
no matter
was
what you spent,
behind.
you still have to raise what you budgeted.
Right.
That's what I understood. Whether you spent it or not.
How much are we down from what we budgeted as far as what you spent?
Yeah, we're probably, it's close, because I had a lot of lines go out over, but I have lines that are under too, so it's,
How much are we pumping right now?
so the bottom numbers are what, the 14th is yesterday. So currently we're running right around 800. We have spikes, when it gets really hot, it'll spike. We've been up over 1 million.
That's not bad.
No, we're running right around 1.1 is so far as our peak.
Is that a peak day for the year?
Currently, but
That's
we
not
haven't
bad at
really
all.
hit summer yet. As people's lawns get drier, because it seems like this year we're not getting the every other day rainstorms.
No, it's gonna be dry for the next,
Right,
pretty much.
and it's gonna get hot and humid, so people are gonna start filling their pools, they're gonna draw on the system.
I mean, we're gonna sell some water this year, maybe we're not as, we just got a shortfall right now, and next year we may not.
It's close, it's hard to tell because we're dependent upon the weather and you can't tell that.
Oh.
There's no way to predict that we're gonna have a hot summer or not rainy or whatever.
So,
It just seems like every time we have an issue with raising the rate or doing something, people run less water. The water
Oh, yeah,
Usage
you
seems
make
to
it
drop.
more expensive, they're gonna use some
seems to
less.
drop right off. I don't know if we're like shooting ourselves in the foot doing that.
well, you do, you always do.
We stay close, I mean, the top line you see there, that's the leak, the year we had the leak. The rest run in it's a narrow band, but you can see that as we get into summer, you can see the peaks. Like 2016 was when the rate went up and they were warned, but they kept using the water, and you can see those peaks standing up there.
What color is that?
That's well, I think it's the yellow or it's green.
The 2016?
Yeah, it's
Or is it green?
these peaks right in here, where you see it reaching up to the leak.
Where's the leak on that?
The red?
It's this one at the top.
Because everything was high.
Right, and it turns out that for the first 15 days, that leak was fixed in my last, so that affected my, it's part of that 60,000 that I'm short, 60 million gallons I'm missing. I think it accounted for 10,
10 million of it?
yeah.
So we're short. So we're still losing 50 million, I think?
Yeah, so I did go back through I went back and I checked the master meters, so the skater is reporting more than we're pumping. If you look at the bottom numbers right there, that's the difference between the master meters and what the skater reports. So they are reporting above. So I'll ask for him to come in and adjust them and try to get them closer, if not on the other side.
So explain the master meters, the
So-
skaters measure what we're pumping.
Right, but so the master meter sends the signal to the skater, and then sometimes there's numbers involved there to make everything work right. So at this point, it doesn't take it one for one. It doesn't read the meter and then take that reading in. It has to be manipulated for it to get into this sheet.
You don't think we got any issue there showing a discrepancy and causing our 50,000 or 50 million
50
gallon?
million, no, it's too high. Even the discrepancy that exists, it's a 4-to-1 ratio, because I did the math with I did a long span test, and it wouldn't come up to the amount that I'm missing. And even if you mismatch heads, the 1-inch meters in town are so insignificant in the population of what we use. Most of our meters are all 25s. The majority, if not the lion's share. So that couldn't
25s
even.
meaning,
What?
what do you mean by 25s?
So we have the 5/8 meters and the 1-inch.
Right.
So most of the town is all 5/8.
5/8,
You know, only the last few years have more 1-inches been added than ever before. You're not going to account for 60 million gallons with the few that we do have. And they were always bought in match sets. It's not like I suddenly had a whole pile of bases and I didn't have any heads, and I've got a whole pile of 25 heads and I don't have any bases.
So when you say master meter, that's all our meters.
So the master meters are the ones at the stations. All the water that we produce is metered,
Okay.
and they're done every year. They're calibrated every year.
And so as it goes out of the station.
Yep.
But how's the skater measuring what we pump?
So it takes the signal from the meter and then
From the
converts
master
it.
meters?
Yes.
Alright, so it's all the master meters that are reading what we
Well,
pump.
except there's a conversion in there that's coming up
It's
high.
coming up higher than what we're.
Why would that be?
I don't know. So I'll ask Mike and then see if we can't get it. I'd like it to be a lot closer or less
Yeah.
on the negative side, so that.
So the master meters should be accurate, whatever we're reading on those, no?
Right.
Very accurate
Yep.
on what we're pumping.
Yeah.
And then the only thing we can match it up to is what all our meter readings come into across town.
Right.
Well, you could make,
Yeah.
if you find that you've got a mistake there, where you're overreading in your SCADA, you could make that as a correction and you're unaccounted for. Soon as you test the meter and the SCADA's picking up a different number, if there's a 5% difference or something, or 3%, you could take that amount of water off your unaccounted for.
Yeah, I'd have to, so what we might have to do is start just reading the master meters every day and then.
Yeah, because normally you're not getting that reading.
Right. And I
But
did look
even
at,
so, you said it's not like that's gonna be the difference in what you've
Right.
seen for the unaccounted.
and I did match, so I took all of our, so I took during the commitments, each commitment, I went back through a couple of years worth of the commitments and matched our production versus what we bill out. And the average is about a 21% difference. Except in the leak year, it jumped up to like 50% and above.
And when you say build out, that includes like the readings for the stuff that we don't actually charge for, like the schools and all, but just as far as the metered,
Yeah, it includes everything.
all the metered use.
Yep.
Right, so we're gonna have to figure out how much to raise the rates.
Have you worked up any figures yet?
All I can tell you is that if you're gonna affect the, if you affect the basic rate, just basically take about $24.50 for customers and multiply by whatever number, and that's what you're gonna bump it by. I don't know. I mean, we're obviously short, but once again, we're going into a hot summer and suddenly people are using it again. We're seeing usage rise again.
So what do you wanna do? You wanna try not raising the rate? I think we're running short, and I don't think, we're spending money that we're raising from the industrial customers through their sprinklers and stuff, and we shouldn't be, just to meet the budget. And it's unfair to the businesses who are paying that.
Sometimes it goes the other way though, too,
Yeah,
right?
it can.
And we can always put money back into that from the other after we do a rate increase.
Last time we
Because what
raised,
do you do I mean, the problem with not doing it on the basic is that you have a cool year and you don't get a lot of extra on demand.
There's no stability. When you base your entire rate on excess use and then it doesn't happen, like that's what's happened the past year, now we're caught short. And the prior year was also minimal too.
so right after we raised it the last time, remember we had way more than we needed.
Right, because we were doing catch-up bills on everybody, and then it was a drought year. 2016 was a drought year. And it
And
was
we had
bad.
plenty, remember we had all the money, we put money in an account, we paint the tanks, we were good. You think that was part of that was the catch-up bills?
It's part catch-up and part excess. A lot was we kept.
We just had a bigger excess then?
Yeah, because the two things combined, a drought year where people watered the hell out of everything, and then we were replacing all the meters that we couldn't get into finally.
Right.
So you get paid for water from years before.
Yep, so you've got several years worth of the income.
I just don't understand how we fell so far behind on the rate if we did so quick.
It's because after 2016, then the weather went the other way, and it started raining every other day through the spring and summer.
And the thing is, I mean, if it needs to go up, we need to go up, because otherwise you end up doing a big jump. It's better to go up a
I
little.
think people are more realistically looking how their sprinkler systems work, because I drive the same way all the time, and I come up through Harvestwood, and I don't see them like running nonstop
You
now.
don't see water running down the road, you don't see it
No,
running during the
right.
rainstorm.
I mean, they have green lawns, but it looks like they're doing it, and I've noticed after it's rained out, I don't see them running when I come past them, so they're adjusting their rain sensors to be out where they're gonna get hit, you don't put them under the overhang so they can't get any rain.
Well, when you raise the rate, it's worth them spending the money to
Right.
fix their rain sensor,
Yep,
but. I don't know. I see you did some comparison with other towns here, was that mostly for tie-ins?
so it gets you tie-ins and rates, rates are hard because everybody does them differently. I wish there was a uniform way, but they're not. But I don't think, we're not the most expensive, we're not the cheapest, but
So did you get the report?
you have like several, there's a big packet of them.
Did it?
So even our tie-in fees, or like you were talking the last time about for when somebody ties in a new subdivision, I saw other towns with the same kind of fees. Those are not
Oh, yeah,
astronomical.
I know, almost all the towns have the same fees.
And then it's not apples to oranges, like some people, the minute you get called to a house, they get charged for that. We don't do that.
Yeah, see,
And
water
they
main
like
tap
people and
fees.
dime the customer in another way, which we don't do. We just, basically, we float off of the rate, and that's it. And we help anybody any way we can.
See, you tap a 12-inch main in Rockland Avenue, it's $100,000.
Right.
Tap an 8-inch, it's $80,000.
Right, so we're not that far off with that.
No.
It exists. I mean, if somebody just tapping in a small subdivision or one
Everybody
building,
thinks see, most of these were done by accountants who looked at water departments and the amount of capital it takes to run them
Yeah,
and to build tanks and lay water mains and everything else to feed this new subdivision. That's where these fees came from. They just weren't made up by superintendents and townspeople. These were actually people who looked at the books and said, that's what it's gonna take to make the water business run.
right.
Because you can't expand your water system to feed that subdivision and keep putting more subdivisions on without getting that kind of money, $80,000 or $100,000. It's gotta come from somewhere. It's either gotta come from the ratepayers, and the ratepayers, a lot of times go to town meeting and vote no. No, we're not gonna do it. Then, that's when you got towns that are really crying for water.
Right.
They can't, they don't have any revenue to do anything. So the fees come from the,
And I saw some of the people, like I saw other studies where the rates were jumping drastically. I was like,
and
You saw them jumping drastically recently?
yeah, but it was just because that they were doing capital expenditures to get
Oh.
things done. But
so Halifax here, 1-inch meters, $29.25.
yeah, we're not that far off of anybody else.
What are we, we're around $5,000, right, for 1 inch?
Yeah, but that's when you're capping them in. There's other fees. It's like $38.50 or it's
38.43.
yeah.
That's what we are on 1 inch? Yeah. Norton's 4,500.
It's not like we're doing that much of the corrections that
No,
make
there's
a
not
huge
the like.
difference to our.
No, we have the study done and the town's pretty much almost all built out. We're just finding little piece lots here or there, other than the 40B that's gonna come.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one on Scotland and
What are you hearing about that? That moving forward?
every time you think it's dead and gone, it's not. He's still moving in the background somewhere.
What have you heard on Belmont?
The what?
Belmont Street?
I think that one died.
So what are we, so we're pumping around $1 million to $1.1 million right now. What were we doing a year ago?
Kerry, did you send in our figures to this group that did this? Or did you just request these? Where did these come from?
I gathered them. So last year we were running right around 5, 6. And you see a couple peaks of 7, but 500,000 to 600,000.
Now we're up around $1 million to $1.1 million.
Yeah.
What, 800 today, you said?
Yeah,
So we're definitely selling more water.
yeah, because it's not raining as
Last
much.
year was wet.
Oh, the past 2 years, so like every
Yeah,
third
right.
day it rained. I didn't have to water my garden, it was like a rainforest all by itself.
Yep.
Yeah, we went through a dry spell, then we just got a bunch of rain recently, but
Yeah.
we were dry there for a while.
We're going back dry again right now.
Yeah. Yeah, like my sump pump didn't run the entire winter.
As much as it usually does, probably, right?
It didn't run at all. It was actually dry until I messed with one of the gutters and then filled it right up.
Oops.
So, so what do you guys wanna do? We gonna raise water rates, or we gotta let them ride and see where it comes out? If the-
Right now, we changed it now, would it take effect the current
You have
billing,
to
or would
wait
it be
until the
taking
next-
effect?
Yeah.
It'll still be taken into effect the next.
Next
Right,
year.
after the next one. So it wouldn't, this one would finish out at what it is, and then the next one would begin at that rate.
And this one finishes,
It's coming up, that's why I think his thing about the taxes was wrong. Our next one is,
Our next bill is August 1st, they said
Yeah.
theirs are July.
alright, yeah, 'cause
So I mean, this
So we-
August, we
so
could
this-
bring a bunch in, we're selling a lot of water right now.
well, but this runs, so June and July though, we're picking up now.
right,
It's
so,
picking-
yeah, we've
That's
sent out our
this
last,
year's.
whatever, right, whatever we built for this year is out already,
Oh,
so.
that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
May 1st.
And it wasn't a big commitment.
I think we should go through the next quarter and see what that brings in.
I mean, we have some free cash still, even though we paid, I'm not sure exactly what we have left, but we've used some of it to pay down some of our debt, so there's still money there, so if we had to prop up the thing, we can. And then ride and see if people come back and start using it.
See if we're on track, I think
And
that's
then,
good.
and then take a look at maybe a range from what we saw the last couple of years.
Or you might
To
just wanna
raise
start,
part of it.
like every other year, just bumping it, the basic by 5 or something until you get to a point.
Oh, but what, Wayne?
By $5, just to,
I think it'd be a good idea to, if you change the rate of the excess, you're not guaranteed the money, because if the people cut back, you just sell less water and you're
Right.
back at the same amount of money.
That's what's been happening. That's
Yeah,
what's
but
been.
you don't wanna just whack it all on the basic either and hit them with a higher.
No.
Right,
So
because
maybe
then
No,
you
'cause we've
figure
always-
out what it, split the difference.
that's hurting the little guy who doesn't use very much water, or
We
the
always
senior
said,
citizen.
hit the excess, because if they want the water, they're gonna pay for it. If they dump it on, because the excess is the people dumping it on
they're
their
dumping
grass.
on the grass,
If
right?
they wanna do that, let them pay.
Yeah, but then they said it gets expensive enough, they
They stop.
figure
They
out
seem to
ways to
cut
use
back.
less on it, so you
Yeah.
can't get it all on them. And
It's
so
a double-edged
these are
sword.
big industrials that are using a ton of water.
No, we don't have.
We don't have
really,
it.
our
We don't
industrial
have
uses
You
are
don't
nothing.
have that kind of a demand. you can
Right,
make up.
I think Market Basket is probably a bigger user than anybody else, because
Yeah.
they're always.
Yeah.
The grocery stores are our
Those are
biggest
probably our
users.
biggest users, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Trukey's and, Trukey's used to be years ago, and Shaw's Market, they were the
Yeah.
biggest. And I didn't realize how much water they use on those sprinklers for the vegetables. They,
Oh, yeah.
they turn it
Yeah,
on
always
every
going on and
couple
off.
of minutes.
I know Market Basket's users, because they were pumping 10,000 gallons out of their septic tank a day.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing a bunch over there.
Back again now, even with that new addition to
Well,
it.
that new addition was the latest
That
thing
helped?
they did, yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're not running the whole thing all the time. They
But
keep
prior to
it
that, they
running.
were pumping 10,000 gallons a day out of there.
When are they gonna do the, they should have done the one in front of Boston Tavern while it was shut down. That one leaks out of the ground and all over the place, we get calls all the time.
Boston
about that.
Tavern does?
Yeah, well, it's not, it's that whole plaza, that system failed.
Man, that thing's been empty for all this time, they could have had the whole thing.
Yeah, they could have redone it without interrupting any business.
Yeah, but the tenants may not be paying rent, and it's hard to do a big construction job when you haven't got any revenue coming in. It's a good time when there's nobody around, but if you haven't got the money, and the banks aren't probably
Yeah, they're not-
really eager to lend when the rents aren't coming in,
Right.
so who knows what their problems are. It's a whole different can of worms.
If we let it ride, figure out between now and,
Right.
when we do it for the next time, figure out what we need to pick up,
Yeah.
what it looks like, and just, we'll have to work up maybe a few
See what our
options
next
for a
billing
split.
cycle does, see if we're like where we should be, a little behind or a little ahead. Of what we should be
We'll see
bringing
and
compared to other years.
But the way the weather is fickle, you really need to hold free cash to pluff up for the years when we get the rain and it
It
doesn't.
seemed like we raised it, and we went a pretty good jump last time, it seemed like we were, remember we were like
Well,
way,
it's $40 a customer more, so if you just.
we were like
multiply
way
it
up,
times
it looked like we were
400.
gonna be good for a while, I can't understand why,
But that was 2016,
yeah,
right? I mean, our expenses have gone up,
but not that much, I mean, we were like,
considering.
we went up, remember Wayne, it was some miscalculation, we went up higher than we should have.
Well, it's because we hit it would have been okay, except it was a drought year, because I know, because after that, I couldn't get, you can't get well drillers now.
Yeah.
But it was a drought year, and we were doing the catch-up, so the two things collided to make it look like, hey,
But big part of that was the catch up because of the
Right.
rains.
you've got like years worth of bills, because the meters haven't been working properly. Alright, so I think I'm hearing the consensus is let it ride and see what happens.
Well, the next billing cycle, we'll have to really take a hard look at it,
Yeah.
I guess, right, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
As
can.
long as we have the free cash we need to deal with it, if we have to.
Or go along and see what it does,
And
where
then
we're supposed to
we
be.
have the time, so that
Yeah,
But you can't keep using the free cash
No,
because it
no,
didn't come from water revenue.
right.
No, but we can put it back in once we do the rate, if it's.
And we'll get a
temporary.
handle on it, we'll see what, I mean, go a little bit, see what it does, and then
I just.
If it's-
think
if it's
go up
definitely
a little
off,
bit on
we
the
gotta-
Basic, so you know you got something extra coming in, it'd be sad.
You should have a justification for how much we go up though. And we don't really seem to have that right now. as to how-
Yeah, we're short 200,000. That's a good justification.
but then see
How
what it
many
is.
customers we got, 27?
I would call it 2,400, and I think you,
I mean, he said the 200,000 was off on the collection compared to that, but that, part of that, I think, was because of this, the interest and demand stuff being
Wait,
put off. So
we definitely
people aren't
lost
paying
some
the
demand.
bills, so we don't know how much it's really.
So
Sure.
usually when we do that, like the demand, we always get anywhere from 18 to like 19,500 just on demand charges when I commit. So that's 20, you know, this.
Oh, so you're owed all that money too?
yeah, see, that's the problem, we're not getting all that, right?
Yeah.
Interest and demand.
Yep, we gave that up when we got.
How much is that? That's
The
good.
governor thought that
Usually
made
like
things
close
well.
to 20, it's usually close to 20.
20,000, interest and demand?
No, that's just demand, interest is anywhere from like 25 to 35.
So to combine, it's 45,000, right?
No. 24.
Oh, I think so.
so demand and finance is usually low.
It's like 3, 2,
Yeah,
anywhere
so
Oh,
from
see,
29 to
anywhere
40.
between 16 and $20,000 plus another 3 on top of that.
Hmm,
So you got about $27,000 a quarter.
a quarter.
2,700 customers,
I would go 2,400.
2,400.
Yeah,
The other ones are like businesses, we're just talking
yeah, I'm
residential.
just doing the rough, it's a rough number that I see all the time, so.
200,000 divided by 2,400 customers, that's
83.33333.
Yeah. That's a big jump, if we had to do that.
Yeah, that's, you don't wanna
How
close that
much?
gap, that's,
$83 a year per customer.
yeah, it's too big. I don't,
What, $5?
no, that's not $5.
No, $83.
No, if you took the 200,000 and you divided it by the 2,400,
Oh, you did it that way?
yeah,
If we're doing basic charge, that's what you're ending up
Right.
doing, right?
Oh, I'm just thinking, trying to catch up a little bit, so we're not gonna have this huge increase. If we find that we're short after this next quarter, and now we gotta make up even more,
right.
that I bring in a little bit more in through the basic, so 2,400 times $5 is what? 2,400 customers times $5. 12,000.
No, it's honestly, if we're gonna have to do something substantial, we'd rather do it once, not do a little one right now, and then come back in another 6 months and do it again and hit them up again. It would be better.
If we do it, we gotta do the basic and the excess, I
Yeah.
think. Right, I mean,
Hit 'em
So
up.
if you hit them in the excess, you probably will shut them, you'll shut them
oh,
down.
that's what I'm
a few
saying.
more.
That's why
Every
you
time
gotta
you
get
do that, they start.
You do.
So why can't we get the town to help us here? Because my taxes go up every year, even when they tell you, and we didn't raise the tax rate this year. Yeah, my taxes go
But
up.
they didn't raise the valuation.
Right.
Maybe we can get them to come down here and give us a good PR spin.
What's going on?
The bill is gonna overrule any PR spin as soon as you get the bill.
Without looking through it
Yeah.
on my own, off the top of your head, Wayne, what's really increased on our expenses the last couple of years?
They all seem to be creeping up. It's not,
Other than creeping, which is normal,
Right.
but anything really whacked us hard?
no, if anything, we're getting ready to pay off Manley Street, so we could actually take on more debt, or we're gonna free up some cash when that's paid off. And that,
What's that save us a year in payments?
oh, I can't see. The one thing I don't have. I wanna say that's like 150,000, but I could be off there.
That's all we're paying a year now on that?
Yeah, it's 230. Oh, wait a minute, you guys have the budget sheets. I did have it on here.
Manley Street.
Yeah, you'll see it, it'll be down towards the bottom.
Iron removal plant principal.
Yep, that's it.
156, and
Yeah, and then there's the,
that plus the interest, so
Yeah.
around a little under 200.
yeah. Did a good job, I can take the week off while you guys suffer through the station line complaints.
So,
This is the last year for that, Wayne?
I don't know that this is the last year, but I know it's coming up within the next few years.
yeah, it's almost, it's a couple of years off, 1 or 2 years off, it's almost there. You have that on the computer, don't you?
Somewhere it is written on the computer,
So it's around 170,000.
yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but I know,
174,000.
When Scott gives us the figure every year,
yeah, he does, I did see it, you can see it's
the
close.
balance is there.
Yeah.
What we owe and what year it's paid
I
off.
wouldn't know which pile of paper to dig through and
Okay,
to find it right off the top of my head. But I know we've looked at it when we looked at the rates. and
yeah, I think
everything.
the next year or the year after.
That comes off.
Yeah,
That'll help.
Anything else coming off? What do we got for payments on equipment?
you know, the rest of it is still like probably about 5 years out with the tanks and stuff.
Tobacco and all that?
The back of, no, that was all paid,
Oh, that was paid.
yeah.
Tank painting?
Yep, so that's probably about 5 years out, although we're throwing some money at stuff, so we might bring that down too.
Yeah.
We might come like almost.
We
get
threw
$100.
remember we threw that extra $100,000 on that, so.
Yeah.
Did we throw it on or did we put it away for the next tank painting?
No,
No, we threw money at it. I know there's 2 articles throwing money at stuff.
yeah, we wanna get rid of that, we're paying interest on it.
That's what we need to do is get our expenses down a little, keep our rates
Right.
decent, you know?
Yeah. The problem is we can't do anything because everything we do is in the millions, so it's not, and
Yeah, we're not gonna be paying cash when we have to paint tanks again.
No
way.
Anything else, so.
Maybe they'll come up with some magic solution to doing them by then.
well, they're all de-leaded, so they should be a little cheaper, but the cost of that paint, I've seen through the years, it's like skyrocketed.
Over the years, it cost us as much to paint the tank as it did to build the tank when they built it.
Yeah.
That's the unbelievable thing, it cost us more to paint it than it cost them to build it.
What did it cost? I forget, what it cost us to paint the 5 million last time?
It was 1.4 something million.
Yeah, we built it for 600,000.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah.
No, that one.
63.
No, after that. The 5 million, I remember that getting built. That was in the 70, 71.
Was it?
I wanna say like.
No, it was before that, because
5
I
million?
came here in 76, and it was older than that.
No, that got built in 71, 71.
I don't know. Either way, it's still standing, it's just a giant beer can standing on
Yeah.
a cement pedestal.
Yep. Oh.
We should start bottling it, selling it with maple.
Yep.
Just don't bottle it over on Bryant Street or anywhere like that.
So, all right, so I guess we're gonna table the discussion on the water rate increase at this time, that's my feelings here.
I think so, so when we do it once, not do a little one and then.
So we wanna move that on to, old business, just so we can vote on something if something happens. That we gotta do something.
We got 150 gonna come out of the budget next year, right? You're pretty sure it's next year, Wayne? For the,
No, I don't know that it's next year, I know
Iron
it's
removal?
Next
coming off, it's within the next year or two that it's done.
Why don't you ask Scott there, look in your books?
Yeah, can we find
I'll
out?
look, I know it's in one of the packs of paper.
Can we find out, get an
Yeah.
exact date on that, what's going on there?
Yep.
All right, so Ford 550, anything on that?
So I gave you you have a copy of the quote.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I think it's $1,500.
$1,600. What about, you feel you guys could save $1,000 and weld it in, or?
I don't think we can.
No.
No, probably not.
That's fine, I didn't know if somebody had, one of our guys wanted to do something like that. We don't even have a welder here, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, I could rent one if somebody wants to sit there and start welding away. Is that
As long as they got the capability to do it, but.
You know who you get a price from? Paul Maroney.
Yeah, I can do that, or I had
Paul's
I had
a good welder, he does nice work.
tech teacher, tech teacher do some welding for us.
I mean, get the steel from Gravy, you can bend it and do all that.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think he really wanted to do, I don't think he wanted to do the welding. He didn't mind doing
No,
the sheet
that's not
metal,
their thing, they don't.
but he didn't really want to do the welding. I can get some prices on the welding. I mean, we're not gonna do it till after July anyway, so.
Okay. That'll get that back in service for a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Rules and regulations. You come up with any ideas what you're looking to change?
Well, the only thing was, changing it so that they're all pushed towards using ductile.
You did a cost comparison? I think?
What do you
Yeah, I
get?
gave you, a copy of Mr. Holdley's quote.
What are other towns requiring, you know?
A lot of towns require just ductile, they don't
Just
allow
ductile.
anything.
Yeah. A lot of towns are switching over back to it.
The plastic, if there's a rock sitting there, a couple of years later, the rock suddenly splits the plastic and,
I have no issues with switching back to all ductile because ductile's very forgiving, you know, you can,
oh, you can do a
You
lot
can
of
bang
things.
into it,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, you're fine.
And you can hear things when you get a leak.
and
Yes,
you can
you
find
can
it.
better.
It's easier to find it. Put a
I
single
mean, that
on.
C900 is pretty good pipe too, but I do
Yeah.
like ductile.
And the water slides easier through it. You can get more water through a plastic pipe than you can a ductile iron because of the friction.
Right,
But there's a lot of things you give up when you use plastic.
You look at the thickness of that, like a 12-inch plastic, it's thick.
it's,
It takes a
no,
lot.
it's heavy, it's not.
If it's even close to installed properly, it is a long time for rocks ever
Right,
go
But
through
you
that.
still have to be a little more careful when you're tapping it too. You
The
gotta,
plastic.
yeah, gotta use the saddle, you can't really get.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you hit it, you can get that spread and then next thing you know, you're replacing a 20-foot stick.
Or if you get a crack in it,
Yeah.
it splits, yeah. Ductile is the best.
So what do you feel, boys?
So that means anytime we replace a main on our own, we're gonna be putting ductile in.
Yeah, if we replace a main. I don't foresee that happening.
You never know.
Up to what size? Or down to what size?
Well, I think our minimum is 8
8
inches. I
inch.
think the
Any
regulation
new
is.
pipe you put in
So-
would be an 8.
Yeah.
You don't wanna put anything less than a minimum, an 8 inch anyways these days. With
I just
fire
think, like, sometimes you get a little 2-lot subdivision or 3-lot, is it worth putting 8?
No, if you put it too big, then they
But
just
you're
too
have
big, it's
stagnant
stagnant.
water sitting there.
But you're not putting it in for the domestic services, you're putting it in for the fire protection.
But even still, you don't want stagnant water, I mean, if you got a small subdivision, it makes
As
sense.
long as
to
they,
go-
like, we have a lot of ones where they didn't run the thing to the end and you don't have hydrants at the end.
Well, that we need to.
Which from here on
That's
out.
why
should
now we
require.
we used to run an 8,
Yeah,
reduce it down with a gate, after the gate to the 6, right into the hydrant.
yeah.
That way there we can flush them out really well. And the best thing to do is if you can keep that water main going through the subdivision and come out onto another street or into another subdivision so that water's moving all the time.
Well, it's gonna cost them to loop it now,
Yeah.
that's the only problem.
There aren't that, because we have the study done, there just isn't that much left. And I think, the GIS girl, she did one where she added in the wetlands and stuff, and there's a lot even less.
difference on the 12 inch, huh?
Yeah, it's,
But again, if you're doing it, if you do the PVC right, you do all the bedding the way it's supposed to be, everything else.
right,
You know, that's stuff you don't have, money you don't spend on the ductile when you're installing.
Still should bed the ductile.
Not the way you have to bed the,
No,
plastic,
Plastic.
plastic has to be clean,
yeah,
pipe bedding, clean
Yeah.
sand, yeah.
ductile's a lot more forgiving on that,
Oh, yeah, it is.
so.
800 for a 20-foot stick of 12 inch.
Imagine that.
Wow. Crazy.
You don't wanna screw it up.
No.
yeah.
Well, in the industrial parks, we always made them use the ductile anyways, because of the fire flows and the surges and everything that they created.
Right,
Manley Street had the AC, but when they did United Drive and that,
That's all ductile.
that's all ductile. So we could find it, but with the fire flows they have up there and the pumps turning on and off, we always figured that they just may split the plastic.
Alright, so we wanna vote.
And they didn't bat an eye.
Well, they're gonna make the money back on it.
So what you feeling, Storm?
Yeah, ductile's fine. Really the way to go. We're gonna end up with it, so.
Okay, do I hear a
Yeah, I'll
motion?
make a motion that we change our rules and regulations to require use of ductile line pipe.
I'll second that. Alright, all in favor?
Right?
Aye.
When did we go to plastic? Was it ductile and then we went to plastic?
Yeah. No, it was
It was
cast, and then we started using ductile. Then they came out with plastic and we allowed all three, you know. Then they did away with cast, so you can't even buy it, so now it was ductile and plastic. And then over the years, you end up with these horror stories about the plastic, so.
Have we had, I'm just curious, but have we had trouble with plastic?
the only, I think, we had one up in like Apple Orchard, I forget which one it is, but there was a rock against it and it split a chunk out of it once,
C900?
yeah.
Oh, really?
But other than the fact that we can't trace it when anybody, so if we don't have the ties going out, then we can't trace it.
Anything that we ever put in for plastic is better than sand.
Right.
We did it right, but the
Yeah,
problem is, we don't know what the contractors
The
do.
contractors, they like to, cause you can bend it a little and then it's pre-stressing it, they're trying to cheat on that fitting.
Yeah, they try to save on the fitting costs and they stress the pipe,
Right.
and then when the guy goes out and taps it, that's when he gets
Yeah,
in
it
trouble.
goes right down the length.
All right, so I guess we're going back to copper and ductilized steel.
Yeah.
I still say we should use plastic for residential.
At least we can find it, you can trace it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Put the tracer wire to it. Any plastic service should have tracer wire.
The only issue is, I mean, the plastic is the better thing outside, it's just once you get inside with that meter and the gripping of the fittings on it. And it
Nah,
does
never
grip the
slip.
copper
They slip
metal.
off, it's because somebody didn't put a sleeve in. That bite, you take one off and look how much that copper band bites into that plastic, there's no way it's slipping off. I think, we've only had one incident, I think somebody must have forgot a sleeve.
No, it was there,
It was,
yeah.
well, somebody used,
But we had two, but
Somebody
we
used the
weren't
wrong-
involved in the other one, the church, the big church, it blew off and luckily, because we were gonna be changing that meter, it was coming up.
or
And it blew off the full-
somebody used the wrong plastic or something. It bites in so much, I can't, or used, you know, what they did, they probably used lousy fittings, not the good Mueller fittings.
All right, so you're gonna change that and keep that in our rules and regulations? Somebody, Terry? Okay. So that someday when it's questioned, when did you come up with that? Somebody, we can tell them what date, we can look back at the minutes and. Okay, update on replacement well.
So the last I knew, they were waiting for the registry of deeds to open up so that they could get in and get copies of the deed where it's restricted, so that in the 400-foot radius. And I don't think that's opened up yet.
Okay. Update on the water permit.
I haven't heard a word on it.
Again, it's gotta get through the state.
Right, and the state, they've scattered into the wind, they're all working from home, so.
Update on water new water resource,
And that's
new
not,
water source.
the good thing is they're not spending any money out of that budget, but it's not moving anywhere until we get through the permit part of it. Now, the leak detection, I didn't chase any more yet, I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to be sure before I chased it some more. So this week I'll give them all a call and say, I need, do you wanna give me a quote or not?
Tom, you got any other questions?
How'd you make on the South Main, were you working on the valve there?
No, the state complained about the dip,
Oh, you're just fixing the dip?
yeah, so.
Wasn't there 2 dips there?
So the second dip is not, it's not anything we've done, but it just happens to coincide right where the old 2-inch main is running down that street.
That tells you something.
So in the worst way, I want to dig it up just to look to see what's going on under there, but then on the other side, there's another patch that I'm gonna have to deal with at a later date and time.
Why at a later date and time?
Cause if it's because we're gonna go down about 7 feet, so I know that it's gonna,
If we do a good job coming up, we shouldn't have to patch it again.
we always try for that. I mean, I can dig it up, to me,
That
but I-
second one's worse than the one you fixed today.
right, but everybody thought it was mine, but it's not, it's that second one when the trucks are really bouncing, it's got a good
It's bad.
pivot in it. But I've run the correlators by there twice now, because there's 2 mains in that spot, so I've done both mains and gone by there twice, and it's not showing anything.
If that just sank like that, there's gotta be something going on.
But if it's old 2-inch main and it was tapped into the existing main as 2-inch, then it could just be that it's not showing up because it's oozing out of it. Because the metal becomes so porous, it just pours out.
Where's this? Which street?
Emerson. So it's right,
in South Main.
yeah,
Huh.
just past Good Days and on the left side, on the opposite side.
And the state didn't say anything about that one?
No, they know that exists, but they can't be tied to me.
Oh.
Their x-ray vision doesn't work like mine.
I'll tell you, that's bad with low.
It's a bad dip. I almost put some
Dump trucks
blacktop in
don't
it
do that,
today,
I'll
but
tell
then I was like, no, because then I'll own it, because they're gonna see the blacktop and go, you did something there.
You think it's right where the 2-inch ties?
Yeah, we've done some, yeah, because you can trace it, and we've traced it back to it.
You think it's leaking?
I kind of think, I mean, other than that, the roads there, they're almost 9 inches thick of blacktop. Something,
Yeah,
I
how
think,
thick is it right there?
it's about 9 inches.
It is, huh?
Yeah. That and West Center Street are really bad, well, East Center too, bad to get through because they've always just piled blacktop.
Well, I think the last time they did that, they planed it, so I didn't think it would be that thick there, but.
Yeah, no, it's thick. It takes us, a good amount of time. We spend a couple of hours trying to cut our way through it.
9 inches?
Yeah, because the saw only goes down about 2.5 inches, so now you're jackhammering your way for the rest of it, trying to get it up. Our machine's not big enough to poke through it.
No, nothing pokes through that.
Got something going on up on Manley Street with valves, over like by where Ryder trucks, I was walking the dog by there last night and I noticed a whole bunch
It was
of
a mailman.
covers missing
The
from
mailman's
the valve
got that.
boxes. One that looked like they'd been stock cut out around.
Well, when they blacktop them over on us, then we go back and if we have to find them, we saw cut them out. And then eventually they come by and they blacktop them over again and it's like a vicious cycle. But we've been painting hydrants, you must have noticed the hydrants around town look a little spiffier. So the next thing.
What happened to the hydrant? Right in front of, the Howard School, right, just after the senior center.
Yeah, I think it gets hit every year. And it keeps
What'd you get hit with?
the snowplow. The snow blower.
Not only the.
They ripped the cap off of it, yes.
Yeah, they ripped the cap out, they ripped the threads right out of the.
Yeah.
They ripped the,
I-
you know, you should be able to thread another one right back in there as a
I
reverse
think
thread.
that's held by a drift pin, but I think this time that they hit it so hard that they ripped it, I don't think it can. I know I've heard about it, I'm just not sure.
With the snow thrower?
Yeah, cause
But it's
the,
on the street side, not the sidewalk side.
yeah, but they tag that one regularly. It's,
Yeah,
Something going down the road hitting it? or-
they spun
No,
it, they
yeah.
spun that
Oh,
hydrant
spun?
around, but then
Yeah.
I noticed the cap was completely,
Yeah, they ripped
not
it.
just
Something
the
hit
cap
it
was
good
gone.
recently, somebody hit it with something.
The
That,
whole,
that
the
snow
whole
blower's
thing's
not
gone.
spinning that hydrant.
well, we repaired it once because they had hit it and ripped the cap out. But I think this time when they tagged it, I think they might have finished it off. We might have to replace the
Does
hydrant.
that hydrant work?
Not anymore because it's missing a cap.
So, yeah, you can't put a hose on it, the cap.
Well, I know,
threads
but
are
you
gone.
get, is the valve part working? You can turn it on?
Yeah, no, it works. It's
Oh, it
just,
does, alright.
Just can't use it.
But you can't use it
No, I
because
know,
there's
you
no
can't
threads
get
to
a
put a
hose.
hose on it.
right.
The other one I noticed is the hydrant on Crescent Street, North Elm Street, on the 16-inch main. That always had a
The
leak.
one that's
to it.
leaning, yeah.
It's leaded more and more and more. I can't figure out what's going on with that.
Where's that one?
It's on ductile iron steel,
Yeah.
and
It's been leaning
it's
since
gotta be on a
I've been here.
45-degree angle now. And I turned it on years ago when it was at 80 degrees, and it worked. So we never touched it. But now, it looks like it's over on a 45-degree angle, and I can't figure out how it could be going over. Does somebody keep hitting
I
it?
don't think I have the pictures in here.
Where are we on North? Oh,
Oh, we're just down from Spring Street. It's not that far down from Spring Street. It's near the
Before-
house that's
Before
now for
Crescent,
sale for as a
on that same
land.
side.
Yeah.
You look, there's only a couple hydrants along there, but it's on the 16-inch main. When you go by, the hydrant's leaning right over. It's been that way. It wasn't leaning so bad, it was leaning a
Been that
little
way
bit.
for 14 plus years because I've been here that long.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's been leaning for years, but if I was gonna dig it up and straighten it out,
Yeah.
and we turned it on, and it was fine.
No, it works.
It works. But now it's so far over, it looks like it's gonna be laying on the ground.
maybe the way they laid the pipe going to it.
Yeah, I
It was
don't.
heading downhill, so it tipped the,
Yeah, once it shouldn't move.
It shouldn't move.
oh, it's moving
unless it
more and
gets
more?
hit.
Yeah.
That's what Rick's saying, yeah.
It's getting worse.
Is it sinking down as it tips too, or no?
Not that I know of. I mean, it just looks the way it looks.
I noticed it just today. I was driving by and went, holy smokes.
The gate is close coupled to it, so I don't know. We might have to shut the whole main down to mess with it because if you loosen it up to tip it back up, you risk blowing the thing off if it's not
Blocked.
If it wasn't an anchor gate, an anchor tee, then yeah, you're gonna wear the whole thing.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Hold on, next meeting,
Oh, yeah.
Monday, July 6th.
You wanna, do you wanna get to the 4th of July week, you wanna skip that one and, you wanna
I think
skip
it's
that
called-
meeting or
I think
propose,
it's call
postpone
and
it?
have some, you guys come in and sign the
Yeah,
warrants.
why don't we
Yeah,
just
why don't, yeah.
do that, and then that means the next one's what, the 20th?
Yes,
We'll just come by and sign the bills?
mm-hmm,
Just call and remind us.
yes, I will.
Is everybody goes on vacation that 4th of July week and everything, everybody's busy?
I think you're gonna see a lot of home fireworks this year.
Yep.
It's already started.
Already been, every night.
Yeah, every night it's like, how did it, and they're loud too. I'm like, where do they get their fireworks from?
New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
What about the people that got caught in the city? They had them all out in the parking lot, all exposed, and the police came along and they go, I didn't know it was illegal.
There was the guy that got caught with the illegal handgun on top of the box. When they went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they went, they stopped over and they had a hot handgun that he, of course, wasn't licensed for or anything, so he got busted for that too.
Oh,
But yeah, they're going off every
Yeah,
night. So that's, so we just,
Motion to
motion to adjourn.
so we're gonna meet, the second meeting in July. What's that date?
The 20th?
Okay. We have to take a vote on that? Change, skipping the meeting?
I don't know,
We never had it before.
Okay.
why don't you just put, you have to give a notice to Sharon that the meeting's canceled, that's all.
Okay. There a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.